2000, a disastrous event known as the Second Impact occurs. Antarctica has been destroyed and half of the human race has been annihilated. Gee, that sure is a way to start a new millennium. 15 years later, which is where the story begins, the angels arrive. Shinji Ikari is summoned by his father, who requests Shinji to pilot a giant mechanical humanoid known as the Evangelion. I don't even think I need to say any more about the plot, because I think that most of the otakus in the world know what the story is about. It is a very popular anime in Japan, in America, and maybe other countries. It is also a very controversial one at that. With that said, I will give my case on this puzzling thriller. The anime may have a following, but I hope what I say what is bad about the show may not piss everyone off. I like this anime, but I think the show has its strengths and weaknesses. So, without further ado, I will state my case about this classic anime known as Neon Genesis Evangelion. I will say that the direction of the story on its first few episodes is great. I like that the first episode gives the main character an introduction while not saying too much about him. I found the direction unique. However, some may think that the direction isn't consistent at all. It jumps from giving out a unique start, then it turns into robot versus monster episodes, which actually makes sense given how the plot starts. However, when the show gets into its last third, it then jumps into a complex and psychological direction mixed into action-packed episodes. The direction can be seen as a mess, however, the pacing is consistent throughout the entire show. It is interesting to watch. If there is any themes that I think worked for the show was some of the religious symbolism and even some of the philosophical ideas such as the hedgehog's dilemma, and even existentialism themes such as individuality, consciousness, freedom, choice, and responsibility, and hell, even some Freudian tropes are thrown in too. If there is anything that doesn't seem right is that it attempts to use these themes and play it along like it's trying to make Evangelion a smart anime. This anime will guarantee a high rewatch value, but it may still be confusing to understand. The use of the themes portrayed in the show, however, may not work for some. This is a bit of a mixed bag to talk about. The animation for the show is what you would expect from a mid-90s anime. It is old, but it still looks great. Actually, I may have to take that comment back at some point because there were some problems with the animation in the show. Gainax was under quite a budget during the making of Evangelion. This resulted in certain animation cells being recycled, some scenes that are barely moving, and also led to the often criticized and mostly loathed final two episodes. I don't think I even need to bring up these final episodes, but I will.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
The final two episodes of this anime confused and alienated the fans of the show. It kind of made no sense. The animation was poor and it feels like you are being slapped in the face. Is the animation good at this point? Hell no. Was it mostly good in the long run? Hard to say. But its decline in quality really did hurt the show at the time. It should be noted that this ending takes place in Shinji's mind, which I guess this theory would support the defense of this ending. But is worth seeing, but I won't guarantee you'll want to rewatch it unless you actually like the ending. The subtitled version is very well casted. The English dub is a bit off in some areas. You can't really go wrong with subs here. Megumi Ogata, Megumi Hayashibara, Yuko Miyamura, Kotono Mitsuishi, and other cast members of the show really nailed the roles perfectly well. The dub may vary your mileage here. Spike Spencer is very well known for voicing Shinji. I have heard better from him. I did not like his performance in the dub. As for Tiffany Grant, I have one word to sum up her role as Asuka. Amanda Winley is hit and misses Ray. As for Tristan McAvery as Gendo, he was pretty good. Most of the cast members of the dub are hit and miss. The English cast during the director's cut episodes does have some slight cast changes. I am in more favor of the subtitle version than the dub. I have seen the entire dub, and I might as well point out that the dub does take a little getting used to. And I'll give Amanda Winley and Matt Greenfield some credit for improving the dub little by little. Also, there is an Easter egg on the 7th Platinum Edition volume, and it's pretty damn funny. However, if you own a Platinum Edition box set, that particular Easter egg was not included. It's a shame, really.
I mustn't run away. I mustn't run. Okay, I got that. Good. Okay. Now, if I were to run away, let's analyze that. Where the would I go? I'm on a big blue ball.
The music is composed by Shiro Sagisu. You may have heard his name in another popular anime known as Bleach. Say what you will about it. I love the soundtrack of Evangelion. It still sounds good today. I do like the use of classical music that was used for the show, even though the use of Hallelujah was used when Asuka was being mind raped, which I thought was kind of a little odd. But episode 24 has the most epic use of Ode to Joy that I've heard in an anime. It is still awesome. If only the show included Mahler's 8th Symphony or Strauss's Also Sprach Zarathustra, then it will be 10 times more awesome. Air is in the end of Evangelion, but that's not what I am reviewing yet. Air is another good classical song. Another strong point of the music is its opening theme. A Cruel Angel's Thesis has been regarded as one of the greatest anime openings ever made, and it is extremely hard not to like. The lyrics may not fit the show, but this one has a place with a lot of anime fans. This is also the first anime opening I have seen in my life, so I have fond memories with this opening. It was great back then, and it has aged extremely well. Another thing that may vary your mileage in this show may be the characters themselves. Shinji Ikari is a mixed bag, and you either sympathize with him because of what he's going through, or you loathe him because he doesn't want to pilot a giant robot in order to save mankind, thus making him a pussy. Of all the things I have seen in this anime, I have observed greatly that Shinji has problems. And with the direction of the show, this anime made me feel sorry for what Shinji was going through in his past and in the present time he was in. There was a point later in the show that he grew a pair of balls, dropped them, and fought like a man. However, as the show progressed sometime after it, he goes back to being a whiny little bitch. So I can understand why there's a polarizing opinion of Shinji Ikari. Now, I actually will defend the character for 2/3 of the show, but there is that side of him that I wish that he didn't go back to, but it is what it is. So I can totally see why people still call Shinji Ikari a whiny little bitch.
Jeez, what a little crybaby. You gonna cry all day, crybaby?
You know, everyone has problems. It doesn't mean you have to be a little crybaby about it.
Little crybaby.
Some may find Rei one-dimensional. However, I'm not even going to say that because I actually like how she's written in the show. As for Asuka, she really made the show entertaining. As for Misato, she's an interesting case. And, of course, there's Gendo Ikari. He is a badass. Kaji was cool, and Karu deserved more screen time instead of only appearing in one episode. Speaking of Karu, the following you're about to see, I could not resist.
You know, pain is something that man must endure in his heart. And since the heart feels pain so easily, some believe life is pain. You are delicate like glass. That is, your heart is.
It is?
Yes, this is worth earning my empathy.
Empathy?
I'm saying I love you.
Oh my.
Anyway, some characters are great, some just needed to be developed a little bit more. Let me inform you of the anime director that made an interesting, innovative move to the mecha genre. At first glance, Evangelion seemed to be just another ordinary mecha anime, but Hideaki Anno deconstructs the mecha genre into a character study rife with psychological analysis, religious references, social commentaries, and exploration of themes such as societal alienation, depression, and the repressive pain of human subjectivity. If what I said goes way over your head, then I apologize. Some anime fans have seen this approach out of the ordinary, unprecedented, and revolutionary. After its success, many anime producers have created shows with a similar approach. This is the anime that has defined Hideaki Anno's career. Back then, he suffered through personal battles of depression at the time Evangelion was being created, and that directly inspired the themes for this anime. Neon Genesis Evangelion has also led quite an impact for the anime industry. I really have a knack for critiquing stuff, and I have fun doing that. I like anime just as much as literature, film, music, comic books, you name it. The reason I chose to review anime is because not every single anime is a masterpiece, and I like to pinpoint what's good and bad about some animes with some constructive criticism. Critiquing anime has been a hobby of mine for 3 years, and I still enjoy this hobby to this very day. With that said, this is kind of pointless to the review, and you probably already noticed that I am making fun of the crappy final 2 episodes of the show already, and I don't want to do this next part, but I will.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Congratulations!
Congratulations. Thank you all.
Neon Genesis Evangelion was available by ADV Films and was out of print for some time until Section 23 Films rescued this anime. Now, I'm going to put a question mark regarding Section 23 Films and its license because I have not seen a re-release of Neon Genesis Evangelion ever since they licensed it. And I am hopeful that one day Neon Genesis Evangelion will get a Blu-ray release because Japan now has a Blu-ray release of Evangelion. The 2 follow-up movies, Death and Rebirth, which is a recap and teaser for the next movie, and The End of Evangelion, which either replaces the final 2 episodes or contemplates the final 2 episodes, were available by Manga Entertainment. Unfortunately, those 2 films are out of print until someone rescues it, which I hope happens. The manga adaptation of the same name by Yoshiyuki Sadamoto is available from Viz Media. Spin-off mangas such as Angelic Days, Shinji Ikari Raising Project, and Campus Apocalypse are also available from Viz Media. A remake series which is notably called The Rebuild of Evangelion is available from Funimation. At the time I made this review, 2 movies have already been released, with the 3rd Rebuild of Evangelion film making its way for a North American release next year. Overall, Neon Genesis Evangelion is a very unique anime that has some interesting ideas, but it is a difficult anime to understand, which gives Neon Genesis Evangelion a huge rewatch value. It does have animation problems, but has some great action scenes. This is definitely for sci-fi buffs out there, and this was my gateway to anime. I find this anime overrated to an extent, but it is still a classic. It is a must-see, but I can't guarantee that it is a must-love. I give Neon Genesis Evangelion my rating of 8.9 out of 10. That ends my review of Neon Genesis Evangelion. If you like this review, feel free to subscribe. And feel free to leave me a comment if you feel so inclined. Thanks for watching. And I shall end this review by saying, God's in his heaven, all's right with the world.
I decided to take a little trip to the zoo, and look what I find! Penguins!